I don't think I'm frustrated. I probably am frustrated myself right now. I think the language is taken out of context, and I really didn't intentionally mean to put down my teammates because they've been through this with me throughout the whole year. They've busted their ass just how I busted my ass. They showed up for me through thick and thin and in the locker room when nobody could see anything. So
What if one newspaper interview could potentially change the course of a professional athlete's career? That's exactly what happened this week when Angel Reese sat down with the Chicago Tribune and said things that have the entire WNBA talking. We're looking at a situation where a talented rookie just called out her teammates by name, criticized her coach publicly, and essentially gave her organization an ultimatum. The reaction has been swift and harsh. Teammates are planning emergency meetings, league executives are questioning her professionalism, and she just got suspended from the biggest game of the season. But here's what makes this story really interesting. Angel Reese might have a point. The Chicago Sky are having a terrible season, sitting at 10 wins and 30 losses. They missed the playoffs last year and are almost certain to miss them again this year, and they're currently ranked 11th out of 12 teams in the league. So when a star player gets frustrated and speaks out,
overall in fan voting, 10th among all voting once you factor it in, but only 12th among the media and the players. So the players actually rated Caitlin Clark higher than Angel Reese.
is that leadership or is it throwing teammates under the bus? The answer to that question might determine whether Angel Reese becomes a cautionary tale or whether this becomes a learning experience that helps her grow as a player, because right now her career is at a crossroads and the decision she makes in the next few weeks could follow her for years to come. If you're interested in following this story as it develops, make sure to hit that subscribe button because this situation is far from over and the implications go way beyond just one player or one team. Let me break down exactly what Angel said in that Chicago Tribune interview, because context matters here. The Sky have been struggling badly. They're 10-30, which puts them near the bottom of the WNBA standing.
Congrats on your 19 rebounds, by the way. But when is this clown show going to end, Angel? Do you have any damn shame shooting concert dates every game on nothing but layups? Thank you, Sid.
I actually shot a very good percentage today. 27% shooting is above my average, so put some respect on my name. I built enough houses to save the homeless in Chicago.
So when she sat down with the Tribune, she didn't hold back. Here's what she said about her teammates. We can't rely on Courtney Vandersloot to come back at the age that she's at. I know she'll be a great asset for us, but we can't rely on that. We need someone probably a little younger with some experience, somebody who's been playing the game and is willing to compete for a championship and has done it before. That's a direct shot at a veteran player who's been a key part of the Sky organization, but Angel wasn't done there. She also said she doesn't believe teammates Rachel Banham or Haley Van Lith are capable of leading a playoff team. These are specific players she's calling out by name.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games.
Then came the quote that really got people's attention. I'm not settling for the same stuff we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me. I am willing and wanting to play with the best, and however I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm going to do this offseason. It's going to be very, very important this offseason to make sure that we attract the best of the best because we can't settle for what we have this year. When she says we can't settle for what we have this year, she's essentially telling the world that her current teammates, including Ariel Atkins, who has WNBA championship experience, aren't good enough.
I've always watched Candace Parker. I mean, she's been an amazing player, a big guard. I always admire her. When I came here, since I couldn't get 10, I wanted to get 3, but I was like, wait, Candace is going to get her jersey retired very soon. So I knew she was going to get her jersey retired soon because she's an amazing player, amazing mom, amazing person, and she's always been super inspiring to me. So I always will love her and watch her game.
These are players who have supported her throughout her rookie season, who have been in that locker room fighting alongside her while the team struggled to a 10-30 record. Angel also criticized coach Tyler Marsh, saying she wants him to coach the players harder and establish a more cohesive identity, and then came what sounded like a threat. I'd like to be here for the rest of my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me. The reaction from her teammates was immediate. According to Front Office Sports, the entire team saw these comments and felt attacked. Coach Tyler Marsh said they're addressing it in-house, and multiple sources report that the team is planning a meeting specifically to discuss Angel's comments.
I think it just leads to points. I mean, when you get rebounds, it's never a negative. Like, when somebody can't stop you on the boards, I mean, that leads to more points for us. I look at it as a positive. Everybody looks at it as a negative, but I look at it as a positive. I only have 4 O boards, so it wasn't just me bouncing teams.
Now, here's the thing. Some of what Angel said wasn't wrong. General Manager Jeff Pagliacca has made some questionable decisions, trading away future draft picks in a failed attempt to win now. The roster construction has been problematic, and the team's record speaks for itself. But the way she chose to express these concerns, calling out specific teammates by name, and essentially issuing an ultimatum to the organization, has created a situation that might be difficult to repair. Just when you thought this story couldn't get any more dramatic, Angel Reese received her 8th technical foul of the season during their game against the Connecticut Sun.
Angel Reese, and I'm saying this with my chest out, I think she's quit on the Chicago Sky. She's been claiming a back injury basically since the All-Star break.
According to WNBA rules, 8 technical fouls triggers an automatic 1-game suspension. The technical foul came when Angel made contact with Connecticut's Aaliyah Edwards while fighting for a rebound. It looked like incidental contact, but the officials reviewed it and decided to assess the technical. The timing couldn't have been worse. The suspension means Angel will miss their next game against the Indiana Fever. This is significant for several reasons.
Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul. What was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, you know. If either Angel gets wide open 2 points, or we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
First, the WNBA has been promoting the Sky Fever matchup as part of their rivalry week, largely built around the college rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Angel has only played 1 game against the Fever this season, missing 2 previous games due to injury. But the bigger issue is what this suspension represents. When you combine the controversial Tribune interview with getting suspended for accumulating technical fouls, it creates a narrative about Angel's professionalism and temperament that could follow her throughout her career. After the game where she received the 8th technical, reporters asked Angel about her Tribune comments. Her response was interesting. I think the language is taken out of context. I really didn't intentionally mean to put down my teammates because they've been through this with me throughout the whole year. They've busted their butt just how I busted my butt. I would apologize to my teammates, which I already have, about the article and how it was misconstrued about what was said. But here's the question. How do you take "we can't settle for what we have this year" out of context? How do you misconstrue directly naming teammates and saying they can't lead a playoff team? These weren't vague statements, they were specific criticisms. The damage was already spreading beyond Chicago. Multiple WNBA executives started talking to reporters, and what they were saying wasn't good for Angel's reputation. This is where the story gets really serious for Angel's long-term career prospects. According to reporting by Front Office Sports, multiple WNBA executives called Angel's comments unprecedented. One source said, "While conversations about roster construction and necessary changes happen frequently internally, it's rare for a player to air them publicly." But then came the assessment that should concern Angel and anyone who cares about her career.
I don't think Angel should be criticized at all. No matter which way it goes, she should never be criticized for what she did. I think everybody knew there was going to be a little trash talk in the entire tournament. It's not just me and Angel. So, like I said, I'm a big fan of hers.
Multiple league sources told Front Office Sports their view is that some franchises will weigh her skills on the court against her conduct off of it. Think about what that means. Front office executives are already discussing her conduct off the court as a potential concern when evaluating her as a player. It gets worse. Multiple executives told Front Office Sports that on a championship contending team, Angel would be the 3rd or 4th option. This is a direct challenge to Angel's star status and suggests that despite her popularity, league insiders don't view her as a franchise caliber player. Annie Costabile from Front Office Sports reported that the damage between Angel and the Chicago Sky may be irreparable. We're not talking about typical rookie frustrations that get worked out over time. This has potentially become a relationship that can't be fixed. The Sky organization hasn't helped matters. They have a reputation for dysfunction, and general manager Jeff Pagliacca did make moves that prioritized short-term success over building for the future. Coach Tyler Marsh is now in an almost impossible position. How do you coach a player who has publicly questioned your methods? But the way Angel chose to address these legitimate organizational problems has created a situation where she might have damaged her own reputation more than she helped her cause. In a league with only 12 teams and limited roster spots, reputation matters enormously. Word travels fast in the W. Potential teammate will ask, will she throw me under the bus if we're losing? Make sure you're subscribed because this story is still developing, and Angel's response to this situation could determine the direction of her entire career.
We're the ones on the team.
Right.
And so I think that when things aren't set out to have the results that people had hoped for you in the beginning, it's easy to point the fingers. Now, I'm not in the huddle. I don't know necessarily what the players are feeling in real time.
So here we are, watching a young player navigate what could be the most important moment of her professional career. Character, leadership, and the ability to handle adversity. And right now, Angel is being tested on all of those fronts. The really unfortunate part is that Angel's frustrations were completely understandable. The Sky's 10-30 record is disappointing, and the organization has made some poor decisions. Her desire to play for a championship caliber team is admirable, and her willingness to speak honestly about what needs to change could have been seen as leadership. But the execution was problematic. Instead of working behind the scenes with management, instead of building relationships with veteran players who could help guide her through these challenges, she chose to air her concerns publicly in a way that made her teammates feel attacked. The consequences are already visible. Even if Angel eventually leaves Chicago, every future teammate will wonder whether she'll support them through difficult times or blame them when things go wrong. Every coach will question whether she'll buy into their system or publicly undermine their authority if results don't come quickly. What Angel needs to do now is show that this was a learning experience rather than a character flaw. She needs to demonstrate that she can be a team player who elevates her teammates instead of someone who makes them feel expendable. She needs to prove that she can handle frustration and adversity with professionalism and grace. The WNBA season is almost over, and the Sky won't make the playoffs. Angel has an entire offseason to work on repairing relationships, continuing to develop her game, and showing that she's learned from this situation. But this is definitely a defining moment. How she handles the next few months will determine whether we look back at this as a rookie mistake that made her stronger, or as the beginning of a cautionary tale about talent that was undermined by poor decision-making. The basketball world is watching, her teammates are watching, every front office executive in the league is taking notes. The next chapter of her career will show us whether she can learn from this experience. What do you think? Was Angel's frustration justified, or did she cross the line with how she handled it? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure to subscribe because we'll be following this story as it continues to develop. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.